Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey, and subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Now, the second edition of the college football playoff rankings is out, and let's go over what the playoff committee ranked the top 25 teams and see what I think about their choices. Georgia's the number one team now, and obviously that makes sense because they beat Tennessee. And Georgia probably, you can make an argument, should have been the number one team in the first rankings to begin with, but they had them debuted at number 3, but now they're number 1, and that makes complete sense. Ohio State's at number 2 after they beat Northwestern, and they stay at number 2 because Tennessee lost and Georgia passed them because their performance was better, so that makes sense. Michigan moves up to number 3. And Michigan moves up because Tennessee lost and they have to move up somewhere. TCU is at number 4. I was actually a little bit surprised. I thought maybe the committee would put Tennessee at number 4 instead of TCU, but they feel TCU being undefeated, they deserve to be at number 4. That's good for the Horned Frogs. Tennessee moved down to number 5 for number 1, so they're lost to Georgia. And I guess that makes sense. I felt either they would be number 4 or number 5, but they are number 5. Oregon is at number 6. And some people thought maybe that LSU would pass Oregon, but the committee put Oregon at number 6. Oregon has been dominant since the opening loss to Georgia in the Pac-12. They've been really good, and they dominated Colorado, so they moved up to number 6. LSU's at number 7, and LSU, they beat Alabama, and that's why they moved up to number 7, and they have a potential chance if chaos ensues for them to get in with 2 losses into the playoff. USC's at number 8. And USC, like Oregon, has been very dominant in the Pac-12 outside of the loss at Utah. And USC still hanging around and maybe has a chance to make the playoff if they can win out. Alabama dropped to number 9 for losing to LSU. And again, Alabama, they have 2 losses. And more than likely, they're not going to be able to make the playoff. But again, if chaos ensues and they can somehow, if LSU loses more and Alabama can win the SEC West, maybe they can make the playoff. Clemson's at number 10 for losing to Notre Dame. Clemson mathematically is maybe not out of the playoff discussion, but more than likely, they are out of it. They're going to have to win out, and a lot of other teams are going to have to lose for Clemson to have a chance. Ole Miss is at number 11. Ole Miss is lower for most SEC teams with only 1 loss, but their strength of schedule has been weaker than the other teams that are in the top 10. That's why Ole Miss is only at number 11, even though they only have 1 loss, and plus their 1 loss was a bad defeat to LSU where they got blown out. But if Ole Miss can win out, maybe they can sneak in if they can win out. UCLA is at number 12. They only have 1 loss, and if they can win out and a lot of chaos and see maybe UCLA can make it, but their chances are a little bit worse than the other teams ahead of them because of how low they are and their strength of schedule is not as good. And now that probably caps off the teams that have any chance of making the playoff. Outside of that, these teams down here do not have as much. Utah's at number 13. Utah's been a really good team, but they have 2 losses, and they're probably mathematically out of the playoff. Penn State's at number 14. Outside of the Michigan, Ohio State losses, they've been very dominant in the Big Ten, but they're out of the playoff hunt. North Carolina's at number 15. I know they only have 1 loss, but their strength of schedule is not very good, and even if they went out, they probably would not get in. NC State's at number 16. They have 2 losses. They've been a really good team, but they're out of the playoff discussion. Tulane's at number 17, and they can maybe make a New Year's Day bowl game as the highest group of 5 team if they can win out. Texas is number 18 with 3 losses. They can maybe make a New Year's Day bowl game if they win out. Kansas State, same thing. Maybe less chance than Texas, but they can still do it at number 19 with 3 losses. Notre Dame's in the rankings at number 20 after their dominant win over Clemson, and they definitely deserve to be in the top 25 in the college football playoff rankings. Illinois is at 21 after losing to Michigan State and Illinois. Maybe they can make a New Year's Day bowl game if they win out, possibly. UCF is at number 22. Maybe they'll be the group of 5's a team that's represented in a New Year's Day bowl game if Tulane loses more and UCF can win out. Florida State's at number 23. They can maybe get a really good bowl game if they keep winning with 3 losses. Kentucky's at 24 with 3 losses from the SEC, and Washington's at 25 with 2 losses. And all these teams, maybe if they can win out, can maybe make a really good bowl game. But obviously, the college football playoff rankings, to me, only the top 12 teams have any chance of making the playoff. And it's going to be very interesting to see what shakes out. And it's very interesting to see how the committee ranked teams, because I thought maybe a couple of teams would be higher than what they were. But I'm glad the committee ranked TCU ahead of Tennessee and ranked Oregon ahead of LSU because they had fewer losses. So that's really good there. But obviously, LSU and Tennessee can still make the playoff if chaos ensues, and maybe even Alabama. Comment down below what you think about the second edition of the college football playoff rankings and what you thought about where they ranked them and who you think is going to be able to make the playoff still. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below, and I will see you next time.